I'm in a top secret location, guys. I'm outside the state. This is not my place. Just hiding, waiting for you guys because we have to talk about this new theory. I don't know what's going on over there with all of these channels, like News Nation, for example. They're becoming like super tabloid, in my opinion. And it's crazy because there is a new, I honestly can't even call it a theory, guys. I can't even call it a theory. Please forgive me because I know I look a little crazy right now. I've been in the woods. Can you tell? I actually found this. And the hubby and I were on the road for a very long time, and now we're finally, stopping. It's a little pit stop here for a couple days, and I can't get away from this case. I can't get away from this case, guys. So now we know that the trial is looming. It's 3 months away. 3 months away. So now we have people like Ashley Trashfield in News Nation spreading basically just lies, right? And she starts off this stupid video saying, well, when it comes to getting a murder conviction, motives are like bodies. They're helpful to the case, but they're not mandatory. I'm like, ma'am, okay, we don't have a motive yet. We don't even know if this man, Mr. Bryan Kohberger, is the man who actually did it. Why? Because we have all read the legal documents. We know that there are other sources of unknown male DNA that were never tested. That alone raises all of our red flags. All of us who have any neurons left, right? And please forgive me. I'm drinking out of a solo cup. Extra classy. And again, we've gone through the legal documents. They don't show any motive or any alleged reason why Mr. Kohberger would want the 4 victims gone. In fact, there are several other people, for example, the live that we made yesterday, where I discussed Eric Gower, the private driver. There are several videos that I have made of the Jack S, for example. A lot of people seem to have more motive than Mr. Kohberger whatsoever, right? Again, the trial is only 3 months away, and Howard Bloom is yapping again. He's yapping again, lying through his teeth again. And I just wanted to come on here for a short while and remind all of you guys that just because somebody wrote a book doesn't mean that it's truthful, right? He's saying that Kohberger went through monstrous and unthinkable extremes to impress a woman. And I'm like, where is this going? Because, okay, it's one thing to be an author and right? It's a work of fiction, but making it seem like Mr. Kohberger had this love affair with this professor is very concerning. Why is he allowed to make things up? Lie, straight up lie. This is not a theory. Okay, this is not even close to a hypothesis. It's a blatant lie. So he's referring to Kohberger went through this monstrous and unthinkable extreme to impress this woman. He's referring to Catherine Ramsland. Okay, this is Brian's professor, was Brian's professor at DeSales University in PA. And I believe to this day, she still teaches forensic psychology. This woman is, by the way, top of her field, has written over 50 books. So people all over the internet are now saying, well, this must be the motive. He really wanted to impress this woman because, again, this is an older woman, previous professor. She's at the top of her field. She's written all these books. He wanted to commit this crime to just impress this woman, right? And I'm like, what is going on? Okay, so they're saying that Professor Ramsland, Catherine Ramsland over at DeSales, kept in touch with Mr. Kohberger and that they allegedly communicated after the crime was committed, after the Idaho 4, and that then she reached out to Kohberger's family after he had been arrested. So I'm like, what? the actual fuck is going on? Because when other people went and questioned Professor Ramsland, you know what her answer was? Her answer was, yeah, that's not what happened. So imagine defaming a woman because of a blatant lie. Okay, again, this is not even a theory. She should sue. Okay, a lot of people love to talk about, well, you guys are crime sleuths and you know, all these true crime channels. You guys are a problem because you're asking questions and you're theorizing. And I'm like, no, these soul-sucking channels are all about clicks. These channels that are just like News Nation, they're literally tabloids. Because Dr. Ramsland herself is saying that what is in the majority of the report, in the majority of the reports, is a lie. That it's not true. It's not true. She said, I had no email correspondence with Brian Koberger while he was at WSU. He has not been in touch with me since the arrest. I called his parents as a gesture of kindness. Imagine that, a gesture of kindness, something that a lot of people don't know how to do. But I do not advise them about the case. So again, let me know if you guys are in here. There's probably not a lot of you in here because I know this is an atypical time for me to come on here. Let me know. If you think that she should sue immediately, please leave a 1. If you think that she should just let it slide, it's no big deal. This doesn't impact the case. This doesn't impact her. Doesn't impact Brian Koberger. Doesn't even impact justice in general. Leave a number 2. In my opinion, Bloom is asking for a lawsuit. Okay, he is causing so much confusion with this case due to his lies, blatant lies. Okay, again, this woman, Dr. Ramsland, she's at the top of her field. She's well respected, and they're dragging her down to this. I just predict a defamation suit coming. It looks like my crap top just crapped out. Great. What is it doing? Oh my God, don't. I don't know what it's doing, but it's really disturbing for me to have to see this because Ashley Trashfield, I've never been a fan of her. Never been a fan. But now the fact that they're even giving this guy, this man, this author, Bloom, they're giving him room, they're giving him airtime to spread his lies. And I personally think, guys, that the reason for this is because, again, the trial is so close. And Ashley Trashfield herself said, you don't need a motive. You don't need a motive, right? But we know that the human brain wants a motive, okay? Because it makes us not understand. Yes, there are people that did not have like a deep motive. For example, Ted Bundy didn't have these, deep motives on how he targeted his victims, but he still had a motive. So the fact that we have no motive in this case, guys, there's always a motive. There is always a motive. Just because we don't understand it doesn't mean that there's no motive. Even if it's just for SEXUAL gratification, like a lot of unalivers unalive for that reason alone, that is still a motive. We don't have a motive yet. We have theorized in my channel, in our channel here, all of our family here, we've theorized about a lot of things. We've theorized about the private driver having a motive. We've theorized on why potentially law enforcement would want to hide this. We have theorized even would there be a motive for Mr. Koberger to commit this crime? I don't think so. People are saying to get away with it, but then he did everything wrong if he actually committed the crime. And it would almost seem like he did everything wrong on purpose. So that motive doesn't really fit, right? It's just really weird. Really weird. And again, they're doing this because we're so close to the trial, and most of our brains want an explanation. We need to understand why this crime was committed and what was the motive. So of course they're going to give airtime. Of course they're going to give Mr. Bloom some airtime, because then this, although it's a freaking lie, a blatant lie, it still gets out there on the internet, on news channels, and people are still like, oh, okay, it'll still stay in their brain. Well, wasn't he in love with his professor? That's a motive. It could be a motive, right? And that's how people function, unfortunately. Hello, Granny Ma. They need to get the trial out of Idaho. He'll never get a fair trial. I agree. Tax Max Facts, thank you so much. What if Eric or someone else stole BK's first knife and planted it at the scene? Yes, Sid, I theorized that. I theorized about that 2.5 years ago, because in those first early day interviews, he had mentioned Eric Gower. When he gave those interviews, he mentioned that he lived 1,200 or 1,500 feet away from Koberger. So I'm like, well, what's to keep him from, I don't know, going in his apartment or going through his trash if he lives right there? Right? Yeah, Tax Max, they need to throw this case out. Time flies. Go. Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy? It's just a couple months away. Let me know, guys, if you're in here. I see there's 63 of you in here. How are you feeling about this case in general? Because mixed reviews for me. Let's see. It's getting dark in here. Maybe I'll show you guys. I look like I haven't slept. Because I haven't. There's like 1,000 ladybugs inside the house. Also, by the way. Yeah, Eric Gower inserted himself into this case. And then he lied about not knowing Maddie. He literally lied about not knowing Maddie's name. But he knows Maddie's name. And I pinned an old video I had made, I think about 2 years ago. I had pinned it, guys. Oh, there's deer out there. I pinned it because this psycho, it sounds psycho. I know how it sounds. Trust me. Ow, bugs. They got my leg. But that video, or that drawing of the Delphi case, guys, there is a drawing that looks a lot like fucking Eric Gower. Okay? I should probably be wearing not flip-flops out here. There's like ticks. They're running away. Can you see them running away? Over there. Okay. Yeah. It looks like Eric Gower. And yesterday I pinned it. In yesterday's live, I pinned it in the comments. And a lot of you guys went and watched that old video and you were like, what the fuck, Nika? Because from what I know, I'm literally the only fucking person in the entire internet that has made that connection. I delved, and I swear, I'm not doing this to toot my own horn. I don't care. But I'm saying it because it's like, why hasn't anybody else made this connection? Have people just like not looked into Eric Gower for whatever reason? Is it because he's a normal guy? His wife works for the Moscow PD, you know? She's not a cop, by the way. A lot of you said she's a cop. She's not a cop. She's just like an office lady, right? So, yeah. Eric Gower, guys, I said this in that video two years ago. He has a father that lives, or used to live, at least last time I checked 2 years ago, not far from where the Delphi crime was committed. Like, his Pinterest was fucking weird. His Pinterest had all these weird masks. They look kind of demonic to me, like they're like demonic masks, like monsters. I don't know how to describe them. And he had like a knife collection and lied about not knowing Maddie's name. That is what stands out to me. Everything else, of course, because we're looking at patterns. I told you guys 2 years ago also that I believed that when we were looking at the assailant or assailants in this case, we were looking at a person or people who would blend into society extremely well. Okay, it's not going to be an incel, a crazy looking introvert with autism. It's going to be a person who has close ties to community members, who is seen as a friendly, helpful individual. Okay, these are the hallmark things in a psychopath, like a true psychopath. Of course, not all of them have great relationships like this, but a lot of them do. They're like snakes. They know how to blend in. It's cold, and I'm wearing booty shorts. So. This is where I come play with my pew-pews, guys. So chilly. Oh my goodness. But yeah, don't overlook people just because they appear normal. If anything, you need to be looking at those people more. Okay, stop looking at people. Oh, but he's quiet. Oh, but he's autistic. Oh, but he's introverted. Oh, but he's socially awkward. Statistically, people on the spectrum or people who are neurodivergent are less likely to commit crimes like this one. Like any crime, actually, any violent crime, I should say. And I have backed this up in the past by showing you guys studies. Don't forget your balaclava. We got that same wind up in Wisconsin today. Eric, where in Wisconsin are you at? I was literally chilling out here. Whew. On the floor. Milwaukee. Okay. We were chilling and I got sunburnt. My legs are all sunburned. Could I show? Nah. My yams. I'm going inside. I need sunshine. Ooh, ooh. Ah! But yeah. I think that's like, it's kind of gross. But let me know what you thought about this video. What do you think about those rumors? Do you think that she should sue? Because now they're making up this story like he was in love with this professor. She's like 60, bro. Not judging. I'm sure there's 30-year-old men out there who love their 60-year-old women. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, stop trying to find connections where there are none. Literally no connections. Literally a lie. This woman was asked by News Nation, is any of this true? Is any of this true? She said no. She said it's all a lie. It's all a lie. Yet people are willing to ignore other connections. For example, all of the connections that I have mentioned regarding Eric Gower. The fact that I'm not going to be able to pull up the picture because my crap top is crapping. But I'll pin that old video in the description when I'm done uploading, when I'm done going live here, so you guys can see that picture. That very first drawing in the Delphi case, that very first drawing that so many people have not seen, because then they changed it. They kept changing the drawing, right? That first drawing looks exactly like Eric Gower, in my opinion. And let's not get into all the connections I have mentioned regarding Eric Gower in Moscow, with Moscow PD, his wife, the fact that he inserted himself into the investigation, the fact that he reported the white vehicle, the fact that he talked smack about Koberger, saying that he was so scary, that his wife was so scared of him, the fact that he went to multiple places, Law and Crime, and what was the other one? I forget. He did like multiple interviews, and in all of them he was saying bad things basically about Koberger. That he was so scary, that he only lived however many feet away from him. Why, sir, are you inserting yourself in the investigation? The fact that he had a Taco Bell receipt a week later, it was over a week later when he actually showed it to the police. The fact that he took a week off of work right after the crime was committed. The fact that his father lives, or used to live, from what I researched, very close to where the Delphi crime was committed. Is it possible that he is a traveling unaliver? I don't know how to put it more bluntly. This is just my theory. These are my speculations, but I've told you guys this before as well. A lot of criminals, unalivers, they move, right? They're gonna pick different locations of where they're committing the crimes because it makes it less likely that they're caught. And if, for example, Mr. Eric Gower was potentially traveling back to Delphi to visit his dad in the Delphi area, could he have unalived those two little girls? Was that his first KILL? Was that his first KILL? Did he say, let me start with these two young ones. Let me practice, because most criminals will start with younger, smaller targets. Right? Because it's easier. It's easier. You start with a younger or smaller target. When we look at people like Ted Bundy, when we look at people like Dahmer, for example, some of the very well-known unalivers that committed very horrible crimes. Hello, ALW, welcome. I see you guys. No, this was not a first timer. This person had to have experience, and this is why I'm saying this, Jesse. Is it possible? Do you think that, if we are speculating, of course, that Mr. Eric Gower could have been involved, and I have shown you guys that picture, that first picture of the Delphi criminal that they were looking for, it looks a lot like Eric Gower. Could he have traveled to Delphi, unalived these two young girls? Make it look like some sort of ritual. Again, his father lived in that area. What's the perfect excuse to go commit a crime? Oh, let's go commit a crime over where a family member lives. We're going in that direction anyway. And then you come back and you commit another crime. This time a little bit more unhinged and more people, because you already took 2 out the first time in Delphi. Why not take 4 out this time? You can do it. Maybe you were expecting less people in the house. Maybe you were expecting Kaylee not to be there. Maybe you're expecting Ethan not to be there. But you know what? You lost your fucking shit because your wife was pregnant. Your wife was pregnant. And we've also noticed, from a psychological perspective, of course, my own theory, we've also noticed in these unalivers that a lot of the times, these unalivers, they have a cooling off period, right? So they have this time where like they unalive and then they don't do anything, and then something, usually something stressful, will trigger them to start unaliving again. Okay? So what's one of the most stressful things that could happen for a young man? Eric Gower was what, 28 years old, 29 years old when the Idaho 4 was committed? What is the most stressful thing that could happen to a young man? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it is becoming a father, becoming a caregiver, having to be a provider, not only now for your wife, but for a future child. Okay, that is very stressful. It is one of the most stressful things a human can experience. When your life changes completely. It's never going to be the same. Okay. Is it possible that he had a cooling off period after again, we are theorizing, people. After he unalived these two girls in Delphi, when he was visiting dad, maybe. Cools off, finds out the wife is pregnant, stressed out, doesn't have the lack of stress to be able to hold off. So when these unalivers are stressed, they're like, oh, I gotta get my fix, and they get their fix, and they commit crimes in the moment sometimes. Right? That's very possible. Very, very, very possible. You have a stressor, becoming a future father. Your wife is pregnant. And you unalive people. And on top of that, I've also theorized if Eric Gower was potentially having an affair with any of those people in that home, with any of the victims, then it definitely adds motive. Because you are driving, picking drunk college girls up for volunteer work, right? What a gentleman. He's volunteering to pick up drunk women, drunk college women. Doesn't even bother to drive them to their door, just leaves them so they have to walk the entire way. Okay? Doesn't even walk them or drive all the way up because he says something along the lines of being afraid of getting robbed. But you're supposed to be volunteering. Supposedly you're doing this to protect the women, so what exactly are you doing? Do you guys think that it's possible that Eric Gower could have maybe, just maybe, theorizing, speculating, that he could have been having an affair with one of the victims? Maybe one thing led to something else. Drunk college girls. He's a man. He's probably not getting any. His wife is pregnant. If I was home pregnant, my husband wouldn't drive drunk girls home. No way, just saying. Exactly. But last time I said that, Yvonne, you know what? People were, they were trying to gaslight me as if I wasn't, a psychology major 4.0. They were trying to gaslight me. And they're like, oh, you just have low self-esteem, Nika. You just have low self-esteem. Yes, I am at the Pew Pew cabin. Technically, any place is a Pew Pew cabin. But yeah. This is one of the remote locations. And I don't know. Something about Eric Gower has never sat well with me. He's never, it's never sat well with me. And again, the whole thing with him driving drunk girls around. Look, this isn't about women having low self-esteem. No, I do not have low self-esteem. But even if you are a woman with very high self-esteem, for example, like myself, I have pretty high self-esteem. My parents loved me. That's why. Okay. Still, no regular, normal, sane, healthy-minded woman is going to want her husband driving drunk women around. You know why? Because even if you don't think that he will do anything stupid, there is a potential legal liability, especially if you're married. Let's say you own a home with your husband and he's out there volunteering to, drive drunk women around because he's a nice guy or whatever. All it takes is for one of the drunk college women to be like, oh my God, he touched me here, or he touched me there, or a misunderstanding, because a lot of these college women that Eric was picking up are drunk, or they're on illegal pharmaceuticals half the time. Would you want your husband driving around girls with things on their system that could just point the finger and put him in a very messy situation? No. Because we know that when those things happen, it's not, let's just say the state let's just say the police departments are usually not going to side with the man. They're usually going to side with the drunk college woman, right? So as a wife, you wouldn't want your husband doing that, even if he was being super duper nice. But on top of that, we know that Eric Gower's wife was pregnant, okay? Even if she was the most secure, high self-esteem person in the world, when you're pregnant, boy, your hormones, you guys know. If you've had babies, if you've had a wife who's had babies, you know your hormones are shifting. Nobody wants their husband around an 18-year-old girl who is on, using booze and illegal pharmaceuticals. It's a no-go. It's not a good combination. And the fact that he's doing this supposedly for free, is he doing this for free? It's weird. Because in my opinion, when I see that, you can claim that you are like the nicest man, that you're doing this to help, blah, blah, blah. But, you know what? It makes you look a little dirty as a human being, in my opinion, because it puts you in a situation as a driver who is not using substances, who is doing this for no pay, supposedly. It puts you in a situation where you have more power than these girls. These girls that are 10, 12, 14 years younger than you, right? And we've noticed that a lot of these people who do this, let me pretend to be a gentleman. I'm just here to help you out. I'm twice your age. I'm just here to help you out. They're doing it because they're choosing their victims. Could choose their victims in that sense, right? Somebody, meaning all the women he's picking up, they're not in their five senses. You have the upper hand. When you see people and the power dynamics are shifted, like we have with Eric Gower being a 30-year-old driver, picking up drunk girls for free, supposedly, because he's a nice guy. You see that power dynamic is shifted. You're driving 18-year-olds who are drunk, 20-year-olds around who are drunk. Do you see the power difference? Okay, this is why when we look at Dahmer, when we look at Ted Bundy, we see those power dynamics as well. They're slightly different. For example, we know that Dahmer used to pick his targets in poor neighborhoods where there were a lot of immigrants because he knew that this power dynamic would benefit him, right? He knew that if he is picking on a 14-year-old, was he Thai? 14-year-old Thai boy or Cambodian boy, nobody's going to come looking for him. And after he unalived all these people in these poor neighborhoods, he targeted young boys, he targeted homosexuals because, yeah, they wouldn't be looked for, right? He targeted young women who would sell their bodies because nobody would come looking for them. So when you see anybody in your life where that power dynamic is not balanced, you just keep your eyes open, okay? Small Fry says, more like this grown man driving young gals around for a free way of talking into putting them out, if you know what I mean. Exactly. Cambodian boy, the cops said, exactly. They did not believe him, right? And they gave him back to Dahmer. They gave him back to Dahmer. This guy fled the wrath of Dahmer. He was able to escape. I think he had already had some damage that had been done by Dahmer. I'm not going to go into detail because you know how the platform is, but he'd already been hurt by Dahmer, escaped. And then when he found the cops are like, oh, this is just a young gay immigrant. That's what they said. That's literally what they said. And they took him back to Dahmer. They're like, here you go, sir. Here's your boyfriend. He was running away from ya. Unbalanced power is never good. And in this case, we have this man where the power dynamic is shifted to benefit him. He's targeting potentially young women who are under the influence. He can get to know them. He can ask questions. Did he know the Gonsalves family? Because, I mean, if you are a person who's going to believe everything that the Gonsalves family has said, well, the Gonsalves family allegedly said that they were friends with the driver. So how much did he know of Kaylee? How much did he know of Kaylee's family? Did he know Olivia? Did he know about Aubrey? You get to know your victims. If you're an unaliver or looking for victims, you get to know your victims by potentially driving them around. He was like family to the G's. Either way, guys, I've been on here long enough, and it's, oh my goodness, it's really dark in here now. So, it's looking a little crazy in here. It's looking a little crazy. The moon. But they want to distract us with this bullshit. They're trying to distract us with this bullshit. Oh, but Kober had a motive. Because, like, you know, his, like, 60-year-old teacher from, like, back in PA where he was getting his master's. Well, that's his motive. Because he wanted to impress her. He wanted to impress her. Yeah, okay. No bears. Yeah, don't get sucked in by all of these bullshit channels. Like, in my opinion, News Nation is a bullshit channel. How are they even allowed to give airtime to Bloom when we know it's a damn lie? Because, again, Kohlberger's professor was literally asked. She was literally asked, did you do all this? Did you actually call Kohlberger while he was in jail? Did you actually contact him before the crime and after the crime? And do you guys still keep in touch? Is it true? Because we heard it was true. And she said, no, it's not true. None of that shit is true, except for the part that, I mean, I did contact the Kohlberger family after Kohlberger was arrested because I wanted to do a nice gesture. Again, something that most people don't even know how to fucking do anymore, okay? They're like, what's a nice gesture? Hi, John. Hello. Yeah, I should probably get some sleep. I haven't slept. We had a long drive. I'm at the cabin, John. You hear that? What is that? I think it's an owl. Either way, guys. It's cold. I'm just cold. I'm cold and tired because we had a long drive up here. It's like an 8-hour drive from Chicago, so it's freezing. Oh my Lord. Oh, thank you guys for the $5. You're rattling cages with critical thinking. Thank you so much. I appreciate the $5. Also, guys, it's chilly out here. Thank you, Granny Ma. I'm gonna get some hopefully tomorrow in. Thank you. But please, I'm gonna pin some that's silly. I'm gonna pin some of those older videos I made on Eric because I really want you guys to look at that picture that I'm talking about. The one where Eric looks a lot like the original drawing for the Delphi case. That was the original drawing. Then they very quickly changed it to something else. So I'm going to pin that as soon as I go here. I'm going to pin it in the comments and go click on it, go watch it. I want to know your opinion. If you think that that picture looks like Eric Gower, please come back to this video and let me know. I'm not scared, I'm just cold. I'm just cold because I'm wearing booty shorts and no shirt. I'm wearing like a thin sweater. Ooh. All right, guys. Take care. Bye. Thanks for joining me. Take care.